everybody, welcome back to another session of the Hopry. My name is Starr, and today I'm going to share a beer with you that I've been wanting to try for a good 3 to 4 months now. I've read a lot about Firestone Walker. Unfortunately, you can't get them anywhere near Kansas City. So I actually reached out to the brewery and said, hey, I've read a lot of good things about you, wondered if you could help me out with a couple of beers to review. And anyway, one of the ones that I asked for specifically was this one. It is their Union Jack IPA. Now it's not an Imperial IPA, it's just a regular IPA, and it clocks in right at 7.5%. But you've probably heard about my fascination with the top 25 beers of the year list that Draft Magazine puts out every January. And this was actually the first one on that list this year. Now I'm not saying that they list those in order or even alphabetical order. I think they're just kind of randomly placed. But it was the first one I saw this year, and I thought, man, I really want to try that beer. So here we are. This is it. I've gone ahead and popped the top on this one already, just because it had a really nice cap on it. Because I can't get Firestone Walker very regularly, I obviously wanted to save that one. So went ahead and took the top of that one off. So with that said, let's go ahead and give it a pour, and we'll kind of see what's going on. Now, a lot of the things that I've read about this beer are that, lots of West Coast, citrusy, pineapple, pine type of hops. In fact, I think there's, I was reading somewhere, there's like Centennial, Simcoe, Cascade. So 3 of the really good, well-known hops are in this beer. So I can tell just by looking at it that it's very clear. In fact, it's pretty much a clear yellow color. Not a whole lot of orange to speak of. So again, this is closer to the color of your Pliny the Elders, your Hop Stupids, and it really stays away from the more orange end of the spectrum. Even sometimes a little bit of red in an IPA or an Imperial IPA. But really a nice looking beer. I'm digging the way it looks, and it's got that good soft white, really kind of an eggshell white color head. And even after just a gentle swirl, you can see I'm getting at least a couple fingers of foamy head on there. So really nice looking beer. Let's go ahead and see what it smells like. Wow. Okay, I'm just going to say right off the bat that this is my kind of IPA. I know that a lot of people talk about your East Coast versus West Coast and what that means. In my mind, the West Coast IPAs are always very fresh. They're always very citrusy. Basically sunshine in a bottle, and that's exactly what this one is. I'm really getting that nice floral hop component in there. It definitely has that really sweet pineapple smell. So you take a pineapple that maybe is just a bit past its prime, but not yet overripe, and you cut it in half and smell it, and you get that really sort of astringent sweetness from that pineapple. I get a lot of that in here as well. Getting that sort of grapefruit, but I can definitely tell that there's that Simcoe hop in there. After reviewing that Weyerbacher Double Simcoe, it's like I said, I'll never forget what Simcoe hops smell like, and I can get a very small amount of that in this beer. So, well, hey, you know what? I'm anxious to try it, so let's give it a spin. Really good amount of bitterness right off the bat. So it's not extremely bitter, and it's not real light, but I would say it's somewhere right in the middle. This actually, I always find myself, comparing them to other IPAs, because I think once you really get to a good level of IPA or even Imperial IPA, they really start to not taste the same, but I think they're easy to compare. So I think if I were to compare this to any that I've had, I think, and this is, you know, not to just compare every beer to something else. You know, when you read music reviews, they're like, this sounds like this, and you know, people say, why can't they just sound, you know, like themselves? Well, what I'm really getting at here is just trying to give you a reference point. A lot of you drink a lot of beers, and so, you know, when I taste something, I'm trying to relate it to another beer that I've had, just to kind of give you kind of a guide of where we're at. And I'm going to say this is actually really close to, I would say it situates itself somewhere in between the Hop Stupid and the Pliny the Elder. Again, it's really light, it's really fresh. There's a good amount of bitterness, but it's just exploding with hop flavors and aromas, and I really, really like that. Yeah, this really tastes like, I mean, this tastes like a very well done Hop Stupid, and I'll tell you, that's a good thing. I think this one's really living up to the hype. I could drink this beer all day long, meaning, you know, if I could buy it, I would probably constantly have 3 to 5 of these sitting in the refrigerator. Very well crafted beer. I mean, when you look at the color when you pour it out, and maybe you can see it on here, I'm not sure. I can see the camera through it, that's how clear it is, but I always think that's a really nice thing. Now, generally it just means that they filtered it. They've probably used some extract as well in the work process and in the early stages of, you know, when you hop for bitterness. But really an enjoyable beer. I like it, and you know, glad I could get a bottle of it. Jamie, thank you very much for sending me this. I can't tell you how good this beer is. So, well, anyway, I guess I got to rate this. Let me give it another taste or two. I mean, this thing is just very clean. And when I say clean, I mean it's not heavy, it's not overdone in any way. It's very subtle, but very explosive in flavor. So based on that, based on the really good combination of hops here, and the fact that this is probably one of the better looking IPAs that I've seen, I'm gonna have to go fairly high on this one. I'm gonna go. I think I'm going to stick with about a 96 on this one. It's really impressive. I don't know. I guess I don't know how it could be any better, but really enjoy it. So if you can get some of the Firestone Walker Union Jack, I highly recommend it. But anyway, since we're doing an IPA today, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with one final thought, and that is fridge the hops. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for coming back, and we'll see you later. Cheers.